Josh has got to stop swearing.
Dreaming.
All right, well, that's got a link to one of our things, so I like that.
I shouldn't have said anything. It just invites Josh to start swearing.
Streaming. Nothing more than streaming.
My back itches.
I heard your back is
Every
feeling
time I
better,
bend
though,
over,
Josh.
my feet itch.
Yes, it is.
Congratulations. Good for you.
Thank you.
I had to rake today.
You had to rake?
Yeah.
Like leaves.
Yeah. My back hurts too.
The wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. Winter comes early in the Kentucky stands.
Well, fall, man. We got trees. Do we ever have trees?
That's right. We're like a 90 seconds early, so that just makes up for
For us,
okay, it
that's
really
like
doesn't.
10 minutes. Come on.
Yeah, it doesn't really make up for it, but it's something. I think
Okay.
I got the live page.
Well,
Got those links?
I got them.
my hard refresh agrees with you.
All right.
Your heart refresh?
Yes.
His
That
heart on
too.
fresh.
Yes.
Yes. Well, you got to keep it fresh.
Yeah, exactly.
I thought you had to keep it separated.
No, I did
Well-
that earlier.
I did pre-order Far Cry 6. That unlocks here in about
Josh.
3 hours, right? What?
Jesus.
No, I've heard it's actually good, but you know, it's all for benchmarking, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It's a work expense.
You know what? I could have done it and put it in the shared Steam folder.
Oh, my neighbor, because it unlocked at midnight here. So, being that he's currently partly unemployed because IATSE's going on strike from the looks of it, and partly working first line tech support for Microsoft, which is great because now I can yell at him directly when my servers get screwy.
Nice.
But he woke up at midnight and apparently had a blast playing it.
It's almost beer o'clock.
Why? Oh, I see. You've kicked me out. I love how Google's doing that now. You're in the middle of editing, and it's just like, yeah, you know what? You're probably not right. You're going to have to log back in again.
Oh, yeah. It's no big deal.
They're also like enabling 2FA for a shite load of people over the next week.
Probably
So that
correct.
should go over well.
It sounds like I have some kind of a creature in the corner here, but I can't see anything.
Ignore this.
Oh well, I'll just try to ignore it.
Pop that down a little bit. Okay.
That perch sticking? Definitely some perch in there.
What?
Yeah.
Rock bass?
Well, it's a little fishy is what it is.
Okay.
I go with perch and rock bass.
The hell are we looking at?
Discord.
Discord. Oh, crappie, not rock bass. There you go.
That's right, Josh. We should get a T-shirt. I'll do it for the clicks. We should do that.
Yes.
Doesn't even matter what it is.
It's awful small, but yeah, I guess that's a bluegill, isn't it?
Are we ready to start?
Start what?
Yeah. Sure.
Maybe.
I'm always ready to start fishing.
Go fish. Oh, it's crappie. I'm with an I. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Bluegill.
So named for the crap load of bones you will find inside.
Uh,
Well, not really, but you will.
We don't need green screens. We need to be as organic as possible.
Oh, we're definitely organic.
Actually, these are
Oh,
green
it's-
screens. That's what you don't realize is that we're all in the same room, but we use like look at how could Josh's room literally have not changed in 10 years? It's a green screen.
Yeah, it was taking a picture 10 years
Took
ago.
a picture of his
Yeah.
office in like 2008. That's why that Ripper XL box is still sitting the same.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's one of the reasons.
It's been there for 10 years at least.
Okay. Oh yeah, the Twitch leak. We'll talk about that. It's our second topic. Only one
That's
story
crazy.
could be more important than that.
Only one.
Okay, let's get started so we can. I'll just shut up and let other people complain about Windows 11. How about that?
Cool.
Okay, let's do it. Welcome to the PC Perspective Podcast. We've reached episode 647. It's being recorded on October 6, 2021. It's a Wednesday. I'm Sebastian Peak.
I'm Jeremy Hellstrom.
I'm Josh Walrath.
I'm Brett Van Sprumberg.
And you can find out when we go live by signing up for our mailing list. I don't think I got an email, Brett. Maybe.
I think you might be lying about that.
Okay. I mean, I checked earlier. He hit the go button. Sometimes
I
it's
did.
an hour before. Sometimes it's like a half hour before. But you'll find out when we go live, and that's important because there's a lot of stuff that happens. Like I don't even know what we were talking about. Random conversation for 10 minutes before we start the show.
What else is new?
You can support us by going to patreon.com/PCPer. Any news on the Patreon front, Brett, or just
It's
Business as
it's going to be a status quo week this week,
Okay.
which are important
fine.
weeks.
Yes.
Simply because we didn't have a mass exodus of supporters, which means that there's a reasonable number of people out there who tolerate and enjoy this sort of thing. And if you're one of those people, please hop onto the Patreon, patreon.com/PCPer. Think about throwing a couple of bucks into the kitty. Keep this party going. Appreciate it very much.
Indeed. And we've reached already a minute in. Clearly the most important segment of the show.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know what you think you're doing, Josh. This...
It's a twist.
Okay, I'll just let Josh take this. Laramie, Wyoming.
So anyway, every once in a while you've got to shake things up a bit. And I'm going to turn 50 next year. You wouldn't think it by the way I act, but it's the truth. And this week I just didn't feel like a burger. I think the back pain and how poorly I handled it just made me kind of rethink some of my priorities. And so I saw some of those Huel advertisements, Huel, about the hot and savory packs. And I figured I'd give them a shot. And so I got the spicy Thai green curry, the tomato savory soup, hearty tomato, something like that, and then the Mexican chili. And so today I came home for lunch and I whipped up a batch of the Huel Mexican chili and added some sriracha, and I ate it. And it was surprisingly good. The green Thai is okay. The hearty tomato is a little bit better, but out of the three, I probably like this one the best. It actually tasted like a pretty decent chili. And it had some spice to it, which, for general consumers, that's not something they often do. And apparently this is quite healthy. It's a lot of quinoa? How do you pronounce that?
Quinoa.
Quinoa? Yeah, and rice and, tomatoes and all kinds of stuff. And yeah, I had to put some sriracha in there. Shake well, it was. So that was my lunch. I didn't have a burger. This doesn't mean that I will be giving up burgers, but I just I've been getting a bowl of this stuff a day, and let me tell you, the fiber is good for you, and it's pretty filling, happily. And it's full, I guess, of a lot of things you need, and I probably have been missing in my diet. So yeah, I don't know if you want to do something yourselves and go to that online food store thing. But apparently there's about 7 meals in each package, and it comes out to be $3 a bowl. And if you consider going to McDonald's and getting a Big Mac meal, it's probably $7 right there. So
Oh yeah, for sure. After tax.
yeah,
the large
food is
size.
getting extremely expensive, and I think it's going to get worse in the next couple of months. But
So
that's just
Go
my opinion.
Josh, in a surprising
you're
move,
right.
has a sensible lunch. Jeremy, on the other hand, has the lunch of champions.
See, saving the segment.
Oh, that was dinner.
Oh, okay.
That was
Has-
just moments before this podcast.
moments
Let me just
ago.
Let me roll
All right,
that back.
take it away, Jeremy.
Jeremy has the dinner of champions.
Yes. Well, I mean, Smirnoff 100 is highly recommended as a digestif, just for the free pour as you're eating. It's perfect. But yeah, no, I've sort of felt a little bit jealous of Josh's wonderful chili and thought that, I should, make something maybe he could feel jealous of too. So it's my little homemade burger that, because I hate gout more than I love pure beef, is 2/3 beef and 1/3 chicken. But grilled up nicely on a peasant bun with some hand-cut Polsky Groskies, a French goat cheese, and some aged Gouda on the top with a little bit of Guinness barbecue sauce, and air-fried fries, which, as you can see, actually do work once you figure out how to do them right. Bit of fresh spinach and tomatoes, just to make it officially 2 veg, and away you go.
That's a good looking burger, Jeremy.
It
Thank
is.
you.
I'm actually hungry. I'm
There's
hungry
some-
right now.
The problem
But
is
I
that
hear
adding
ya.
the chicken to it changes the texture and it changes the way it cooks, and it's kind of annoying, but I also like the plump burgers. I'm not into the flattened into absolute nothing and then 2 of them added, because that is probably a significant amount of beef.
Yeah,
I didn't measure
sometimes
it, but it's...
every once in a while I like to go get the Freddy's steak burger, and they really flatten those things out, but they do it in a way that's really tasty.
It's a
I don't know if
different
you have
type of thing.
Yeah.
We've got a few chains that do that sort of things. We've got, was it Five Guys, I think, that does that. So yeah, there's a few that do it, and if I'm in that sort of a mood, yeah, because you get a lot more crispy bits and crunchy
Yeah.
stuff going. But if I want a real burger, I want thick, nice, juicy.
Jeremy did the burger equivalent in our segment here of a fading 3-pointer. So, okay. All right. Excellent job.
Nice work.
It was tasty. It's not like I suffered for this.
Yeah. And I hate gout too. Every once in a while I come down with it as well. It sucks.
Yep.
Hence another reason for eating
Yeah.
the gruel. When I'm even having a root beer tonight instead of regular
Oh
beer.
my gosh. Oh, Josh, I'm gonna drink in your stead.
All right.
You sure this isn't like a Tuesday?
I think
Do it
I
again.
must be
I
a pod
don't-
person or something.
Hey, was there any tech news this week that we should talk about?
Yeah, we should move on. I was going to show the Windows 11 download page, but for some reason, maybe it's just my house. I've been having intermittent issues even getting it to load for the last 24 hours. So instead of showing that, I'll just show you one of the stories that's out there. And Gordon at PC World's been a little critical of Windows 11, which endears him to me greatly. But he wrote a story about how Windows 11, which of course came out yesterday, October 5, even though it was really out a day early, Windows 11 might tank Ryzen CPU performance, AMD warns. So,
Ouch.
quite a big performance hit because of L3 cache latency, I believe. It might be core scheduling.
It's both.
And it's a support note from AMD. This is not just like the community complaining. It's AMD saying, "Oh, it don't upgrade to Windows 11 yet." If you're on Ryzen, like most enthusiasts are.
Did you see my tweet today where I linked directly to AMD's page that details?
Yep.
I shall.
Well,
Talk
do you
while
hear?
I-
Do
while
you
I
want me to
reply.
throw the?
I
Want me to
just
throw
go
the link directly at you?
Josh G. Walrath.
Josh D. Walrath. There.
Josh Walrath.
Windows 11 performance variation in certain applications on compatible AMD processors.
Here we go. Yes.
Yes.
I should probably click on that link. Look at the actual AMD. Here we go. Known performance changes. Measured and functional L3 cache latency may increase by approximately 3x. And preferred core may not preferentially schedule threads on a processor's fastest core. Oh, that's fine. Don't worry. A Windows update is in
And you'll
development.
definitely notice it on processors with more than a 65-watt TDP and 8 cores.
Okay, do you think let's just put on our tinfoil hats here for a second. Microsoft and Intel are working
He's not
closely
that
right
competent.
now. Microsoft and Intel are working very closely right now on this advertising campaign to bash Apple because, of course, Apple, who used to be partnered with Intel, now has their own silicon, so now they're the bad guys. So I don't know if you've seen any of these cringy ads that they're doing, but it's like supposedly just real people off the street, and they're being shown a new Apple product, and it turns out it's really a Windows PC. And did you know Windows PCs could do all of these things? But it just feels like right now there's this tight bond between Intel and Microsoft, and AMD processors being totally unoptimized for with the new version of Windows 11 after all this time seems a little.
It's so strange that there's a thing called Wintel out there,
Yeah.
a concept. So yeah, but someone really dropped the ball at Microsoft and maybe even at AMD, because how long have they had builds of this? I don't know. It's bizarre.
I don't see Microsoft being competent enough to actually manage to program something that works better on one architecture than the other. And I mean, as my example will be Intel Management Engine, which continually screws up Dell machines and a variety of other ones so that they never actually shut down. They only go into a very deep sleep. And once again, that has come back. So, I mean, it's not like Microsoft doesn't mess up the Intel things as well. But then there's also the other point, which is that Windows 11 and Intel Killer NICs don't work very well right now. Also a huge slowdown.
What's the problem?
I mean, not for anyone who's paid extra for a high speed NIC, right? And the Smart Byte, which I haven't really dealt with much. And I mean, if you're an Oracle user, yeah, and you're running an AMD virtual machine using a killer NIC, well, you're just totally just screwed. Windows 11 just killed you.
Well, this is fun.
Yeah, it's a new release. What do you expect?
And unfortunately true.
What do I expect? I would expect something that's been tested to work on common hardware.
Well, Sebastian, how much time did you spend testing for them?
0 hours, but
That's
you know,
your fault.
I feel entitled.
You are
Yeah.
now their beta tester.
They're getting
Wasn't it
enough
like
data?
5 years ago that they canned a large portion of their Q&A people?
Yes,
Wasn't
Yeah.
like
about the same time.
Barnacules,
Yeah,
he was
Barnacules.
part of that, and he got laid off, as well as a bunch of others. And
yeah. That was also when they started pushing like the insider rings for the Windows preview builds and turning it all into sort of a game where you were supposed to just volunteer your time, and if you did a lot of testing, you got access to newer versions of it, and you're supposed to provide feedback, just almost like it was a paid job, which they suddenly realized they could outsource to people who like internet points.
It's just, it feels quite arrogant to say, look, we're 90+% of the market no matter what we do. If we don't test this stuff, if we do test this stuff, it doesn't matter. We just print money. So we
Yep.
don't care. They don't have to care. There's no competition. There's the Linux world, which is vast, but unfortunately, it's a tiny percentage of the overall market, and Microsoft knows it. That's all
and
I
even
mean.
though it's a lot friendlier, I mean Linux, than it used to be. It's still. I mean, you got to know what you're doing if you want to do things like play games. I mean, if you're just going to browse and watch movies and stuff, sure, that's easy productivity things. Run GNOME as your desktop environment or KMZ. I can't remember all the different ones. Yeah, I mean, that's great.
Yeah.
KDE.
Yeah.
Kids.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff is easy to do, but yeah, once you start getting into gaming, then you're dealing with making sure the drivers work with all the different software that, yeah, it's
I don't know, Josh.
Proton.
Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Steam and
Steam
Proton.
Deck. Steam
That's
Deck
true.
is,
yeah.
That is
Steam
your
Deck
next
is
gonna help.
gaming PC.
Yep, is plowing the way. I mean, anti-cheat from who just did anti-cheat on Linux? Who just got it working? Two companies just did. I don't remember who they were. But anyway, yeah, it's becoming a legit platform. But you're right, it's almost there. Not quite.
It's becoming a legit platform. Brett Van Spierberg, 2021.
Well, for
Ooh.
gaming.
The platform
Yeah.
that runs the
gaming.
internet, that runs. Okay.
Oh, come on. For
All
gaming.
right, all
Mir,
right.
of course,
I work in
says
Linux. I work in Linux all day.
Proton makes things much easier.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
it
And there's a little
works
bit of
better
a
than it
performance
used to.
hit. I loved it. The guys at Linux Gamecast were tweeting about this. I think it was Pedro, maybe. It's like, that performance hit from Proton isn't even as bad as the Windows 11 performance hit.
Ouch.
So it's like, hey, there you go.
All right,
Stop
there you
complaining,
have it.
people.
Ouch.
All right. Another piece of news that's been making the rounds in mainstream media, so it's something big. Twitch was hacked. And it wasn't just hacked, apparently. Everything was hacked. Every bit of it. The source code, all the user data. It's just creator earnings. which is the one that's getting a
Earnings
lot of
history.
attention.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, you're
We
right.
can find out how much Josh made off of playing Battleships.
I made nothing.
Josh, I was
About
going
what
to
figured.
suggest maybe you should start using Twitch. I mean, it looks like there's money to be made over there. I mean, you could probably make
Yeah.
$1 million.
Yeah. Oh, easy.
And
There's some
and they
people that-
have acknowledged it. Look, here's their tweet. We can confirm a breach has taken place. And they are
But-
working on it.
The
This
one
smells
above
like
that
an-
is my favorite, though.
What?
What's that?
So they're talking about how Twitch's community is a horrible, disgusting, toxic cesspool. They posted it on 4chan. They literally
There's a-
posted that on 4chan.
There's a certain lack of
Oh.
awareness in that, I think. Yeah, you have a point there. There's like two things that I want to mention about this. One, it went beyond Twitch to a couple of related properties that they own. But the second thing is there's a lot of people drawing parallels with this into like an AWS problem, because Twitch in 2014 or so was actually bought by Amazon for almost $1 billion or something, $970 million.
I think I remember that.
Or- yeah, it was very expensive. Anyway, so yeah, Amazon owns it. This is not an AWS problem. AWS has a very shared responsibility model, which is that they are responsible for the security of the cloud, and you, say Twitch, when they move their application into an AWS environment, are responsible for their security in the cloud. So this was not a breach of an AWS problem, definitely not. This is a breach of Twitch, and to me, it smells like an inside job. The way that this sort of rolled out with the
Yeah.
deep accessibility into all of the Git repositories, and they knew just what to get across the entire spectrum. They knew where to go. They extracted it very neatly, and probably walked out with I'll just guess, they probably walked out with
Some
a
of which were
USB
really
stick.
cool backups.
Yeah. Seriously. Yeah, stuff might have
125
been nice.
gigs, so maybe like a 128 gig thumb drive.
You
is
know,
all
it
they could fit
it
onto
would
it.
fit. It would fit.
Yeah, well, no, a
I
little
can't-
NVMe drive, so it's faster.
True,
Take a
but
while to
see, the
transfer.
125 gig exfil over outbound bandwidth. I mean, even them as a big company probably has it, but who wants to risk spiking the monitors on long transfers inside of a company? It's probably was a walkout. That's my guess.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any more comments on this, or should we move on to exciting AMD Samsung products?
Much excite.
Move
Okay.
it, move it.
Because this is something, and we're going to mention just briefly in passing some console stuff later, but I've been thinking for a while after I heard about this, because if you don't remember, Samsung has a joint venture with AMD to bring RDNA 2 graphics to a mobile platform. It's a new Exynos SoC. It has these RDNA 2 graphics. They're announcing that this features ray tracing, which makes sense. RDNA 2 obviously supports ray tracing. And
They posted it to social media so that the compression algorithm got to it pretty good.
exactly. It's like so similar looking pictures that are just still.
Exactly. Compare these pictures, which is completely useless once they post it.
But if you look at the underside of the tank, there are reflections of the flames, and on this one there are not.
yeah,
I
but
can
that could
see,
be brightness
like-
and gamma, maybe.
And there's
you
these
know.
these effects, the fire on the
Okay,
building.
yeah.
Well, that's the
Okay,
same.
there you've got a point
Okay.
there. Yep. All right.
What else is different? It looks like they're using more contrast in the other image. Oh wait, look. There are flames in this car, and here there's no car at all. The power of
Ooh.
ray tracing to
don't
bring
think
in
that's a-
models that just aren't there without
I
it.
don't think that's how that works.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Have you not played the Quake remake? You turn it on and there's all sorts of stuff that wasn't there before.
So let's see. The rumors claim there's an AMD RDNA 2 GPU codenamed Voyager or V'ger. When we finally find it, centuries later.
You made a movie reference. Nice.
Yeah, will feature 384 stream processors. So that would be 6 ray accelerators. Anyway, some speculation here. It's nice to know that ray tracing in some form, or at least support for some features of ray tracing, will be available on a mobile platform. This is exactly what Nintendo needed for the 4K Switch if they were ever going to do that. Think about it.
Yeah, well.
Powerful
don't mention
graphics,
the
low
Switch.
power consumption. Okay.
Just makes
Besides,
you
last
sad,
week they
though.
were swearing up and down there was going to be no Switch, so don't know
Sure.
what you're talking about.
Oh, okay. Jeremy, can you please try to make sense of, first of all, how to pronounce this, and second, what it is? It's an Intel product. I can read that.
Yeah, that much.
It fits on a
Yep.
fingertip.
Yes, because, well, I mean, how big do you want your neuromorphic compute tile to be? That might be named Loi?
Sounds good to me.
I don't. Yeah, all right. So this is Intel taking a completely different approach into high performance computing. And because they're modeling it off of a brain up to the point of referring to some things as axons and dendrites, it's not easy to explain in any way, shape, or form. But I will attempt to. Essentially, instead of trying to explain what all it is, because Ars Technica did a fairly good job on that, and Serve the Home also put up a good definition of what the specs are inside of it, although we still don't know what Intel 4 processing node really is other than Intel 4. So they're trying to get away from the major issue that you have with quantum computing and our traditional neural nets, where with quantum you've literally got to build it specifically with the qubits entangled to solve a specific problem. It's not a general processing computer. It's built to figure out a specific thing. With neural nets, you have the same sort of thing. You have to train it to be able to recognize parrot. And you run into issues where, the parrot is partially concealed, or it's actually a cantaloupe with the word parrot written on it. And it's, I am 98% sure that thing is a bloody parrot, and there's nothing you're going to be able to do to convince me it's not, unless you retrain me from scratch. So what Intel is trying to do is make something that's a lot more plastic, that is given a general task and some general training, but they're only going for good enough performance. They're not looking for perfect efficiency or anything. They're just looking there's a drone that's running this, and it bounced off 3 or 4 of the obstacles, but it made it. Whereas if you've got a one that's been trained by a neural net, and one of those obstacles looks slightly different than it was trained on, it may ignore it, it may panic. You're not going to know really what it does, and whatever it does, if you don't like it, you're going to have to train it again from bloody scratch. One of the examples Ars Technica used, which seems relatively useful in the short term, is a robot. So you've got a robot working in a car factory or whatever, and over time, its performance is going to change. Things are going to start to erode. The pressure on hydraulics aren't going to be the same. So if you got a neural net trained, it knows exactly how it's supposed to do everything. And as changes happen in the systems, you're going to end up with inaccuracies at the end product because the neural net is not capable of dealing with those changes. With Intel's Loi, or Loihi, or however you want to pronounce it, they've actually set it up in a way that it should be able to handle small changes and actually be able to find new local efficiency maximums. So it's very small. It's a very small sample size. There hasn't really been much on it other than the PR. And trying to explain exactly how it does it and how the architecture is going to be a little bit less power hungry is incredibly difficult quickly, but it's certainly something that's interesting. Did you get anything else out of it, Josh?
Not too much. They didn't go into a whole lot of details. Trying to mimic the brain is an interesting way, just because neurons actually grow and split off, and new dendrites and making new connections. So I'd be curious, how they are representing that in non-movable silicon. And is it more FPGA in what they're doing? I mean, I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting to find out.
Oh, they also talked about 3D stacking it as well, which could lead to some interesting interconnects. And then they don't really talk about the interconnects at all, which is another, it looks neat, but we need more info.
Just like number 5.
Yes.
Johnny
Five.
Good.
Johnny 5, man.
Speaking
Someone
of-
explain that to Sebastian, please.
Yeah, no, it's hopeless. I'm a lost cause. Speaking of more information, WCCF Tech is where I saw this. I know there's a bunch of reviews out there for the OLED Switch, which came out in the last couple of days, but there was a teardown that confirmed HDMI 2.0 present in the dock. So it's and a 4K HDR ready HDMI cable apparently. So the system itself is essentially the same, has a couple of minor tweaks, and it has an OLED panel with a smaller bezel, so it's a slightly bigger screen. But the interesting thing is there were all these rumors about there was going to be this new SoC, it was going to be more powerful, it was going to support ray tracing and DLSS, which of course indicated it was going to be an NVIDIA product, and it was going to have 4K output. It was going to be upscaled, but still, there's a video out there, which is linked in the WCCF Tech article, that shows that the dock itself can output 4K. So it looks like they were probably working on something and it got canceled. I'm thinking probably like chip shortage related, who knows. Maybe it was power or thermal issues with putting a beefier chip in the small handheld that could do 4K and ray tracing. But anyway.
I bet that was it. I bet it was heat dissipation over the long term. Like they couldn't do it.
My
like it would,
Switch is
work. But
burning me.
It's actively cooled already, but I mean, they can spin up and get pretty loud sometimes without outputting above 720p and without doing ray tracing. So
right. So imagine.
And then another console note, this is on the Sony side of things. There was a bunch of news a few months ago about the PlayStation 4 basically becoming a brick once Sony finally turns off its servers. Or no, it's if you replace the CMOS battery. Because then you'd have to go to like the servers to have the system reactivate. They've pushed out firmware rather belatedly that eliminates this. So you can switch out the CMOS battery later on and not have a system that's just unable to do anything. It's version 9.00 of the software if you have a PS4. So no PS3 update. And then I just
Nope.
heard yesterday that the PS3 and Vita are soon pretty much, not officially, but they're sort of unofficially shutting down the stores because they're turning off PayPal and credit card payments. So you have to buy a gift card or buy digital gift cards and then put in the code and then redeem the code, or you can't buy anything. So all these years later, finally going away. So all of my stuff will become extremely valuable. That's my hope. All of my currently rather useless PS3 and Vita stuff will become extremely sought after. Acer, Predator, you've heard of it. It could mean anything. That's just their
But not in
gaming
this context.
brand. But it doesn't.
Acer
Yeah, it's not just
Predator.
anything.
Yeah.
It's a NVMe drive with what looks like a thick heat spreader on it. What is this? It's not quite a heat sink.
That's a thick heat spreader.
Innogrit
Everything comes with them. Yeah.
IG5236 is a 4x4 NVMe 1.4 controller. Tell me more.
Okay, I guess I could. I mean,
Jeremy
first off, I
Hellstrom
thought you were
posted
going to
this.
say Phison
I
again.
can just pretend that I know what I'm talking about and read off of your
No,
words.
this is, it's been kind of boring that every single drive has been a Phison controller. So apart from, how much RAM they've stuck on it and what the SLC cache looks like, it's the same bloody drive. So this is actually a brand new controller that we don't see very much of. And on this particular one was a 2 terabyte drive. So there was just over 680 gigs of SLC, which is more than most of us are going to be writing. The price is crept up from where we like to see it, but is honestly about where you'd like it to see. It's under 20 cents anyways. With a nice
18
5-year
cents a
warranty.
gig?
Yeah,
Unacceptable.
I know. Well, look at all the other stuff.
Well,
And it is fully and completely rated to work with the PlayStation 5 if you want to upgrade that instead of your PC. But when the testing was impressive. Like, it's pushing past the WD Black SN50 New, the 980 Pro, and the MP600 Pro in a lot of tests. Not in every single one, but in a lot of tests. If it ain't the best, it is damn close. I think that's one of the ones where it's, just off the maximum. It does, of course, if you do a huge sustained write that goes over the 680 gig worth of SLC that you've got, it does fall down. But, I mean, that's what you expect from a TLC drive. And honestly, if you're not doing a lot of stuff, if you're not writing hundreds and hundreds of gigs of data, the speed on this thing is really impressive, and it's pushing the Phison stuff. At least it's giving it a good competition, if not beating it. So overall, I mean, it's rather impressive. There you go. There's the sustained. So once you break about 600, it's down to about 2 gigabits, and then after a while, you're down to, well, it's TLC, so you know how fast it's going to go.
So it looks like about 1 gigabyte per second is what it will eventually fall to.
If you were actually doing jobs where you're writing that much sustained.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is literally a fill the entire drive test. So, yeah, if you were doing huge photo editing that with, 4K 120 frame a second or something, yeah, maybe not the best thing to do. If you're a gamer, this thing is crazy fast, and it's, as long as you're finding it about the same price as everything else, then it's definitely going to be recommended.
Interesting. And this is the first product with the Innogrit that we've seen.
First one I've seen.
Okay. Another player has emerged.
Yay. I mean, it's not as fast as the SN850 and the Phison E18 with the really heavy duty
No.
NAND, which are 7 gigabyte per second. But yeah, that's a reasonable price for a 2 terabyte PCI 4.0 that goes above the 3.5 gigabyte, that PCI 3.0 has. So it's a nice compromise in between the really high end stuff and the usual.
Okay, speaking of the usual, we've already talked about AI in this podcast. Let's talk about AI some more, because people can't get enough.
Oh god.
Or
No.
maybe they can.
No.
Well, no, the
they
AI
can't.
can't get enough.
What is
We're-
It's
Clearview
funny.
AI?
You remember a year and a half ago when a bunch of U.S. police departments were sued for using this AI capture of several billion faces and then using them to search people's social history for everything that they ever posted to the web or anyone posted with them on the web to try and build up a criminal profile of them so that they could go off and arrest them because obviously they've had a history of something or other. And so that was Clearview AI. There was, some serious feedback about it, not least of which because some of the people involved in it were absolutely freaking amazingly wonderful people who have, made the news in a lot of ways. Well, let's just say we're surprised that Martin Shkreli was not one of them, because it was that sort of crew that ran the original one of this. So, among other things, they said to say, hey, this Clearview AI is definitely not allowing police to put people in jail based on shoddy background, because they're 98% accurate according to the tests that the ACLU does for other stuff. And so they took the testing data Clearview provided and gave it to the ACLU, who said, yeah, that's not even freaking close to what we do. Whatever the hell they're telling you, it's not using our process, and the accuracy is, a bit better than flipping a coin sometimes, but generally not. So, yeah, there's been a lot of false arrests off of it. Well, today, it turns out that, one, Clearview AI is not backing off at all. Second, they also lied about how many images they've scraped. It's not just 2 or 3 billion, it's over 10 billion. And they've now designed an AI and an app that'll go with it to allow customers, before it cost a stupid amount of money because they didn't really have good search algorithms, but now they've got a nice little AI trained up, and so you can fire up an app and feed somebody's image in, and it will, in several seconds, come up with every single appearance of them on any picture from any social media that exists, because they also got sued by Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for scraping these sites without permission. So boom, like literally your entire picture history on the internet will come up within seconds on a freaking smartphone app. So this definitely will not be misused or, cause horrific consequences in any way, shape, or form.
Of course not.
Yeah, that's...
It's the singularity, man. We're approaching it faster and faster every day.
Bow to your AI master.
Yeah. I just feel sorry for them because they have to look at our pictures, which is, I think, why they will rise up and kill us, so that we just stop taking pictures of those things.
Look, as I just pointed out in Discord, I take great care to not post the pictures of myself on the internet. Just putting that right out there. There's no pictures of me anywhere. Except for...
Are you on
None.
social media at all?
Except for the
Brian?
entire scrape of this podcast.
Yeah,
Still.
yeah, I was
Whatever.
gonna say.
Yeah, I mean, you put yourself out there for 1 to 2 hours every week on YouTube, but other
Okay,
than that,
you're
Think how
using
many
logic.
frames that is.
Logic.
yeah,
Stop it.
exactly. Jeremy is right. It's 30 frames per second. I don't even know how
Really?
many seconds there are in an hour. It could be easy to figure out.
There's a lot. There's a lot of them. 3,600.
3,600.
Okay.
Roughly.
Yes.
Why, how
Wait,
long
no,
are
30
your
per
minutes?
second times 60 seconds times... Okay.
Jeremy, how long are minutes in Canada?
Well, it
It's 50,
depends.
right?
Am I in a meeting or not? Because if I am in a pointless meeting, let me tell you.
How long do they seem?
Like the sands of time through an hourglass.
These are the days of our lives. Hey,
Oh, he knew this.
Far Cry 6. Of course, Days is one of the longest, if not the longest running television show.
You're
It's
right.
been
No, I
on
think that's
almost
Coronation
every
Street.
day
Sadly.
since 1960 something, 68 maybe.
Well, I'll drink to that.
I'll drink some more bottled water to that, obnoxiously
Okay.
into the microphone.
Yep.
Far Cry 6. Anybody excited about Far Cry 6? That's the latest big game to come out.
I know Josh is.
There's
Huh?
some reviews out there. There's some information. I've heard, I think it was CapFrameX on Twitter who was talking about this is a CPU-intensive game to a certain degree. Performance does not look bad. I was seeing, I think it was Brother in the Discord chat who was saying that from one of the reviews, it might have been Tech Power Up, they were showing 1440p, highest detail settings, no ray tracing, and almost every card starting with a 1660 was giving you at least like 40, 50 frames per second. So it looks
More
like
better.
yeah, so it, like Far Cry 5, which is not a particularly demanding title, this one, well, without... This is before you bring in the HD texture pack, because this one, unlike the old HD texture pack in Far Cry 5, where it would still, the memory footprint was still pretty small, this one apparently pushes about 11 gigs, so you can make an RTX 3080 fall down, where a 2080 Ti is okay. So... Here's one of the reviews. This is Guru 3D talking about
And this is
usage.
specifically the DirectX 12 ray tracing.
Oh, okay. So what are we looking at here? This is a 6700
So-
XT.
And the other thing is that this is also one of the first you've got the full support for FSR. So in this particular one, I think they were doing a 3080 for this. So the red line is just the straight out DX12 ray tracing. So
Find the 30.
you're done from about 100 frames. There you go. There's
Okay.
a good look at it. So across the board, you enable it. You're looking at about 20 frames dropping. But you notice the top cards on that ray tracing benchmark?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's almost
Huh.
like the
They-
Far Cry people worked with AMD
That's-
to optimize their game for.
Huh? How about that?
But also
Yeah.
DX12 ray tracing is working pretty good. It's only once you get up into the 4Ks that NVIDIA starts to get a little bit better.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. The 3090 is just a freaking beast for that sort of thing. But it's nice to see that at 4K with the new DX12 ray tracing on, you're still gonna get decent performance on the video card you can't buy.
Exactly. Well, where's some old video cards? I guess they're not really any on here.
Wait, what?
Once
There's
you
something
get
wrong down.
ray
Look at that.
tracing.
The RTX 3060 Ti. Oh, well, it's because of memory space.
Yeah.
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 yeah. No, the memory on that would just go black.
Yeah. The 3070 Ti they have crashed, and so there's no result there. But yeah, you need more VRAM for these.
But yeah, as soon as you put FSR on there, it actually runs.
Huh.
Because this was just ray tracing. They did FSR on the next one. So that's the nice thing I like to see about this is that you're looking at open source ray tracing and open source resolution scaling. So it works on them both.
Let's just look at some raster-based results. This is 1440, ultra high quality, no ray tracing. Top of the list is still AMD, as you would expect from this title. So the 6900 XT is 107 frames per second average. 6800 XT is at a 103, which ties a 3080 Ti. And then if we go all the way to the bottom of the list, okay, it does get down to about 30. If you go all the way back to an RX 470, 30 frames per second. So that's kind of I guess the baseline.
And that one you might actually be able to find.
And let's see. Say you're still rocking a 580, 36 frames per second. Okay.
I guess Vega still runs really, really nicely with Far Cry. They don't have them listed here, but
Oh, here's a Vega 64.
Vegas 64. Vegas
Oh,
64
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Getting over 60
61.
frames per
Yeah,
second.
look at
so,
that up.
yeah.
61 frames.
It's just higher than you'd expect.
yeah,
Man, Vega was built for the future.
it
The high
was.
bandwidth memory.
TM.
Okay. Well, those are our news stories this week. It's time to turn our attention to something we haven't had in a little while here at PC Per. A desk review. Everybody loves these, I'm assuming. Or maybe not.
You know,
Or
I
what
don't
if there was
know.
a video of him standing on it?
I know.
You know,
You
we're going to get to that
claim
in a minute.
you claim to have taken a ride up and down on this thing, but there's no footage to prove it. So I call BS on that. But look, here's the review. Flexi Spot. Is it Kana?
I called it in my head, I pronounced it Kana.
Kana Pro? Tell us about
Yeah.
it, Brett.
This is a bambooed tabletop adjustable power dual motor standing desk. It arrived in multiple packages across different days, and it was heavy AF, I might say. The motorized legs were 75 pounds alone. The desk weighed over 25 pounds. And it was only a 55 by 28 inch desk. Not all
Where does
that
it
large,
list
but
the product weight on here? I guess it shows loading
know,
capacity, but okay.
they don't list it in their specs, but I
Oh.
was impressed by the weight when it came in, so I personally weighed it, and I'm like, this stuff is heavy. I think, just to kind of impart a level of impartial quality, because stuff that weighs more might seem like it's of higher quality. There's a lot of steel in the support pieces, and a lot of wood, solid wood, in the bamboo top. And I discovered something. I actually liked the bamboo top. Now, I start off talking about some of the accessories here and some of the different ways you can order this. You can order it all the way up to a 78 by 30 inch desk, which is pretty
gods.
ginormous, I know. And you can get it with a curved front, so you can tuck your way right in there. But the next picture on this, which is a snake essentially to route the cables from the floor to the desk in kind of a continuous stream, really remind me of the Spider-Man Doc Ock look, the Spider-Man arms. But it does neatly arrange all of the potentially different power and networking and whatever cables you're running up from the floor down one stretchable or foldable line. I've never seen a spine or anything, a snake like this. Thought that was sort of an interesting accessory. So that's kind of how it looks with their other accessories, their CPU or their case hanger that they've got going on there, and the curved front to the desk. But moving on with the actual unit that they sent me. They sent me the Pro version, which has got the way that this thing was packed, very impressive. The tabletop had super resilient corners so that wasn't going to get damaged in shipping. It was padded all the way around. Actually, I was really impressed, and they provide a neat way of making sure that they have an avenue to their customer service department, so you can get an issue taken care of right away. They seem really focused on that. Building it was easy. All the hardware was neatly labeled. They've got pre-drilled holes in the bottom of the bamboo there. Everything is adjustable, including the feet. All the motors and stuff come together really well. 24-volt motors, of course, and they'll draw about 5 amps. So this is it after I got it fully assembled. It took me about an hour.
What vintage of 15-inch MacBook Pro are we looking at here, Brent?
And there's where you went wrong. That's a 17.
Oh, it's a 17.
I think you've answered your own question.
This is a little
That's a
older then.
2011.
Yikes.
It's a 2011 17-inch MacBook Pro, the high-end quad-core i7 with 16 gigabytes of RAM and 2 internal hard disks, both of them SSDs.
Where is that serpentine cover for your cable mess here? This is
I
unsightly.
kind of
Cable
wish-
management is the devil.
Yeah,
Can
I
you
know, I
imagine
agree.
threading it through all of those little spines, and then the network
Well,
cable
actually-
dies, and you have to pry them out?
Oh,
Honestly, hold on.
Hold
Each
on.
one of those little spines has an opening so that you can slot the wire into. Don't do this. Oh,
What
I
is
can't believe
this?
you're doing this.
what is under
I
this
only-
MacBook?
I just kind of put everything.
And this
up
is
there
a
'cause
newer MacBook too. This is a
It-
much
that
newer
is a newer-
15-inch MacBook Pro.
That's a 16-inch MacBook Pro.
Okay, whatever.
Well, you know how you
15-inch
sweep things under the
class.
carpet?
And is that your LG ultrafine display?
It is not my LG Ultrafine
Is it
display.
is it
hu-
a display port or like a Thunderbolt display?
No, it's actually a fairly bog standard Dell 2K 1440p
Well, Dell
display.
has
Yeah.
kind of changed their monitor. My Dell is like 10 years old at this point. Neither
Anyway,
here nor there. Yes.
Yeah, so there's a few more pictures in here that sort of detail the build out, and this is about maximum height there. This actually turned out to be rather accurate right out of the box. I think that one of the pictures on here is me measuring it with a yardstick. Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So there you are. It actually legitimately measures the height of the desk in a digital readout. So kudos to them to get it calibrated, out of the box. I didn't do anything special. Just seemed to work, just fine. Not that you care, but the digital readout relates to reality. This is pointing out something, that you probably have to deal with, the fact that the bottom needs to be adjustable. And this is actually one of my new places where I can go to work in the house. So
Yeah, with an Apple keyboard and one of these atrocious
yeah, I don't like
Apple
that very
mice
much.
with that little ball on top that is
Yeah,
like it's a fight every day.
Not one of my favorites, although
But
it was just one of the ones
the aesthetics obviously matter to you, Brett. You've got the Apple Store style tabletop here,
yeah,
all
bamboo.
Apple. You got a plant,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah,
see
I was,
the window shade kind of matches the desktop surface here.
Do you like the way the light streamed in? I mean, I tried to get the streaming light, and I
Yeah,
did
can
this
we
just
just?
really,
Oh, I
really.
see. You gave it the gold award.
I did, and I couldn't give it the editor's choice because this is not my first motorized desk. I've built one before, and I guess I would have to say my choice would be kind of more DIY. Get my own tabletop, order a motorized platform for it, and kind of assemble it myself. So this really wasn't kind of my choice. And this one from FlexiSpot, a little bit on the pricey side. It runs about $500, and I think for the curved edges and the couple of extras they throw in for the Pro version, may or may not be worth it to you, but it is very, very high quality in my opinion. Seems very nice. FlexiSpot as a vendor has a enormous catalog, and I urge people to go take a look if they're looking for something a little bit less. They've got mid twos, mid threes. Pick out your dollar point and order a setup from them. They've got it, but the non-pro ones have a square frame to them, which can be real knee killers in my opinion. So I didn't mind the fact that this has the kind of rounded posts on the side so that you don't really smack yourself on them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That wire thing reminds me of the Tesla self plug-in robot.
Cool.
The thing.
Yeah, don't bend over.
Oh.
Yeah, so you always want to face forward with that desk, or otherwise.
Oh, hey, I did forget to mention that Sebastian really had an important point here. I did, if you read the article, I did actually, as soon as I had it assembled, lay down on it and motored it up and down. Okay.
Hey, I have an idea.
That's-
Take a
Okay.
picture of that next time and put it in the
Yep.
review.
You know what I think I'm going to do? I think I'm going to wear my Joe Exotic outfit,
No.
Halloween outfit,
No.
and just
Oh, you mean
do one of-
loungewear, your weekend loungewear that you're pretending?
Yeah,
is a
and just
Halloween costume?
do the whole and then video the whole leg up kind of thing, and
Yeah,
just
I-
whoever wants to see that, just
Nobody
the-
does, but
no one
it would have
does
been
that. Nobody
nice
wants
for you to just wear normal clothes and sit on it. And even if you don't have video, you could have at least taken like the timer
Yeah.
function on your camera and just
I could have.
anyway.
You know what? I strive to be better, and you challenge me.
Well, okay. I mean, it's good to have goals, but
Yes.
it's also good to make them achievable, and then you can build on that success.
Okay.
All right,
I'm
let's do
wearing
picks
my
of the
weight
week.
next time.
But Josh, I don't have a pick for
Oh.
you.
I
Do you have a pick?
totally forgot.
What? You're the anchor of this segment. Well,
Dude,
while
I
you
don't
think
know.
about it, I'm going to go to Jeremy. I'm going to skip over you entirely. Jeremy?
Yeah,
what's your
just
pick?
skip over me.
What's your pick?
I'll get it next
Alright.
week.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it works for Sebastian, so why not?
Hey, I had a pick.
Yeah.
I put my pick in before anybody else.
You
Jeremy,
too.
Good for
go.
you. Their Pure Rock 2 is on special at a place called Mike's Computer Shop up in Canada for what is actually a really damn nice price of $50. We did a review of this not too long ago, indeed. Not even 2 months ago, and Kent absolutely
Kent
loved
did-
it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Kent loved this one. Yeah.
Yeah, he gave it a gold star for this. So, I mean, honestly, there was significantly more than one left when I posted this. By the way,
There's one
I'm
left
sorry
in
about
Hamilton,
that.
Ontario.
There was significantly more, and you're allowed to order them online, so
Oh,
you
okay.
can still get it. But so yeah, move quickly if you want this. Otherwise, keep an eye out. Maybe he'll get a little bit more stock. But yeah, there was significantly more of them earlier on, and that's why it went so quickly, because it's quiet and it's up there almost with an Noctua, and for that price, hey, you can't go wrong.
Yep, this was Kent's review. And as you can see, it was super quiet. It was the quietest one he's tested so far with his current test bed. by about 1.5 decibels. It was 36.2 decibels under max load. And then the thermals were very good for its size, especially considering how slow the fan is moving. So it was right below a Pure Rock Slim 2, so 65 degrees above ambient for the average load across all cores. So that was just a little bit higher than a Dark Rock TF2 and even a Shadow Rock 3. So very good performance, very quiet, of course. I mean, that's right in the name.
They put it right in the name. Pretty much they put it in the name of everything that they do. Weird.
All right, Brett, I am very curious about this because there are major issues with these. So I wonder if that's all been fixed. These are ready to go.
To be honest with you, this and part of the write-up that I wrote on this is that it would do. This is an AV receiver from Yamaha. It's a factory refurbished. The price is right. The price is right.
It's very cheap. This is the TSR 700.
Yep. This is normally about
$349.
this is normally about $650. You can find it probably at BH, maybe Amazon, about $650, $700. This is factory refurb. All right, just we could get that out there. 7.1 channel, 100 watts, so not super overpowered or anything. Normally, 7.1, you probably want a little bit more, but depends on how loud you want to go and the size of your room and all that. But there's supposed to be a software update that eventually pushes this to capabilities of 8K switching. Right now it's only 4K switching. Just want to get that out there. Because that's probably what you were reacting to when you were saying these
have a horrible HDMI 2.1 bug that rendered them essentially unusable with things like the PlayStation 5. So we
I just like that it specifies that it's compatible with Napster.
Oh, that's good.
It does have a lot of AirPlay. I don't mean that in capital letters. It does have a lot of AirPlay compatibilities with different broadcast, internal in-house broadcasts protocols and things like that. So it's very aware of a lot of ability to stream, audio streaming. Here's that right up on the HDMI 2.1
looks like they had an update for it last month. I missed out on this because I was too busy with tree damage. But September 2021.
I think two things are interesting here. One is that there's software updates for AV receivers nowadays, which
that's common.
I haven't bought one since I don't think I've bought one since my Denon, which was probably about 10 years ago. So I haven't had any recent experience. And full disclosure, honestly, I just bought one of these Yamahas. I just ordered it.
Oh, nice. Well, you'll have to let us know when you hook up your PS5 if you have any issues.
What I'm gonna do is my PS5. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna replace my Denon in the regular AV room, and I'm gonna take the Denon and move it to the computer and put my money where my mouth is and put a live 5.1 surround for computer gaming. Hey,
Okay.
I'm gonna do it. Hey, if you check the new ad this week, they're pushing that Klipsch 5.1. Exactly, that's on their front page. Push 249, I think. That was my pick from last week. They're pushing it this week.
Yeah. Inexpensive. Good sounding.
I'm gonna hook it to my Denon.
I've been a Yamaha fan for years, but I was scared off by all the HDMI.
I will let you know how
Issues
this
with
works
those?
when I get it in.
Because for a while they pulled them. You couldn't even buy them, and their stock was in limbo, and they're waiting on software updates. But
Soren just did a Brett Joe Exotic.
okay,
He's making my
It's gorgeous. We have a cover.
God.
let me see. Gotta screen this before I put it on the screen.
It's incredible, actually.
It's all in the eyes.
God, he's good and he's fast.
Yes.
Somebody hire this man.
It's good. I'll give it a B plus. Maybe
an
a
8 out of
solid
10?
B+.
An 8 out of 10?
It's not his best work. It's not bad.
Pretty good.
It's pretty good, though. He didn't capture my full wig, and I'm going to wear the wig next time. So,
Okay.
all right.
My pick this week is a very simple one. My son, the thing he destroyed this week was the screen on my wife's iPad. So we have, in the family, there are two iPads. One, my wife's old iPad Mini 2, which became my son's iPad, but it's so painfully slow after every software update. Because, of course, a software update comes down, and I'm like, no, no, no. And he's already pressed OK because a prompt came up, so he presses OK every time. So it's running the latest iOS, which, of course, means that it is incredibly slow because Tim wants you to buy new stuff. So we have a 5th generation iPad that's my wife's iPad, which he's broken the screen on the little one like 3 times. It's gotten to the point where I just kind of replaced the screen in my sleep almost because I've done it so many times. But then this one has been fairly unscathed. I've had to replace the screen once in the big iPad. He just broke it again. Kind of wasn't his fault, but it sort of slingshotted out of the case as he was holding the case and went smack into the floor and shattered everywhere. So I was looking into it, and iFixit sells these nice kits for $50 where it comes with the tools you need and a new screen. But hers has a white front. They didn't have any white in stock on Amazon at the time. So I ordered this Zen Top, which is about half the price. It's $25.99.
This feels off-brand.
It is, but I mean, there's so many
off-brand.
brands that have so many weird names. It's like, whatever, it's $26, and they're probably all the same. The installation kit that it came with was actually better than most. Mine did not come with this spudger, though. I don't know why that's pictured. But black and white available. This one, I mean, you have to get the one for your iPad. Mine's the iPad 5, 2017. But I just popped it in there. I didn't even care about the home button. I've transplanted that home button before. I didn't even worry about it. She doesn't use the fingerprint reader on her iPad. So it just has a generic home button in it now. And it came with the adhesive strips pre-attached, home button pre-attached, all that stuff. The camera bracket was already there. And it seems to be of acceptable quality. So I give this the Acceptable Quality Award for a generic
Good
Amazon
enough.
product. Yeah, it's good enough. So my son can break it again, and it only cost me $26 this time.
Oh, perfect.
Instead of seeking out an Apple OEM and paying like $60 for it on eBay like I did last time.
You know what? That's a privilege. That's not a right. That's a privilege.
The iPad?
Right.
Yeah, except
No,
his
seek-
school
seeking out the
requires him to
Apple
use
repair.
iPad apps. So now I kind of had to. Because the old one is so slow. Like literally the iPad 2, if you're watching a video, he's watching a video on Disney Plus, and he rotates the iPad
Oh,
from portrait to landscape.
pain,
The video
pain.
stays in portrait for about 5 seconds and then slowly turns, but it doesn't expand. It stays the same size.
Oh,
It's
Nice.
just like half the screen. It's like, all right, you need a faster iPad, I guess.
yeah, but he doesn't know. He doesn't know.
He doesn't know or care as long as the iPad has charge.
And
Otherwise,
that
he's
his
crying.
shows and his shows are on.
iPad, it's dead. Like, right, plug it in. It'll turn back on in like 5 minutes.
And tears
Stop
dry up.
crying now.
Yeah, it's magic.
So, all right, that was my pick. Man, we did it. We've only been doing this podcast for about an hour now.
Yep.
After
Yeah.
editing, 58 minutes.
And no
Tops.
sponsor tonight. So
So it's so quick.
Easy.
Like, we did it for you guys. We did it for the audience. To
That's good because I was starting to fall asleep, even with root beer doesn't have any caffeine, so just
Yeah.
sugar.
so wait, Bart
try-
has caffeine.
you got to try real beer, Josh. That doesn't
It's
have any
got
caffeine
bite.
either.
Yeah.
Did you know that Sunkissed Orange Pop has caffeine?
No.
No.
There's some unusual, like you wouldn't even realize they had caffeine in them out there. But
Huh.
okay, I guess this is our show. We'll tune in again next week when we'll have more exciting Windows 11 revelations, more rumors about upcoming GPU and CPU products, perhaps. I don't honestly even
Probably a
remember.
different review of something.
Yeah, maybe another review or two.
Maybe.
There's some stuff laying
Promises,
around I can get to.
promises.
You just got something in the mail, as far as I know.
Right, and that's as far as that reference will go.
Of course it is.
So, yeah, until next week, good night.
Good night.
I'm glad they finally sent you the updated model of the Hitachi.
You know, when I was moving things
time.
out of my garage, Josh, the other day, because I had to empty it so the workers could come and repair the roof,
We told you to clean it
Oh,
before
right,
you put it
yeah.
away.
I found this big box in the corner that I'd forgotten about with Hitachi on it. It's a
And
I thought
what
of
was
you
it?
immediately. I'm cleaning
What
my
was
garage
it?
and thinking about Josh because it said Hitachi.
That's-
it was
that's-
a,
That's not good.
That's not healthy.
not
That's,
good.
not
That's some
healthy.
far out innuendo, if you know what
but
I
it
mean.
was a big,
Yeah.
powerful electric thing. But it was a.
You should never be thinking about Josh and a big, powerful electric
what is
thing
it
in
called?
the same thought process.
What are the saws where it's a circular saw, but you bring it down and just do one cut at an angle or straight?
Yeah.
Like a
Miter saw.
Like
it's a miter
like
saw.
a chop
Yeah.
saw. Oh, a miter
But it's
saw.
just I've never used it. I bought it on sale one day, and it was probably like 5 years ago, and I forgot I had it.
Wow.
You could have redone your roof with that.
I could have. I think I bought it to do trim. I was going to do quarter round molding and cut all the pieces with it and stuff. Yes, Barks root beer does have caffeine, Dustin.
Oh.
That is correct. Mug and A&W are caffeine free. Barks is not.
Yeah. I think Dad's is free too.
This is Tommy Knocker.
You not?
Ooh.
Contains no
Oh.
GMOs or caffeine and is gluten and alcohol free.
Boo.
Tommy Knocker out of Colorado.
That's the wrong
They make good
coast.
beer.
Next thing to water.
Is it made with organic
That's not where Stephen King
fair trade
lives.
beet sugar? Is it vegan?
Is it vegan?
I guess you didn't say it was out of Portland, so maybe it's not vegan too. I did not know this, but apparently hardcore vegans won't even eat sugar unless they know it was not bleached.
Oh, stop! Really?
Because they use apparently
Well-
bone to bleach sugar. So they
How
won't
does
eat
that
it. It
even
has to be
make
beet
sense?
sugar and it can't
Go
be
go
bleached.
sugar in the raw.
Oh gosh! If you're
I don't
not
know.
living on the edge, you're taking up too much room.
When I got
Yeah.
to that point, I was like, okay, I can't support that. I know people who are vegan, but it's like I would never go down that road.
I thought you were on the vegan train.
No, I
No,
was
just a veg head.
vegetarian from 2009 to this year, and then I have actually eaten chicken for the first time in 12 years. This summer and fall.
Was
Couple
it
of
any
times
good,
I've
though?
grilled chicken with my wife here, and that's like I'm
And?
so paranoid about meat at this point because it's been so long since I've had it that it's like, okay, if I buy it, if I prepare it, if I cook it and temp it, I'm the crazy person who's like temping it over and over again until it's exactly 165. Then I'll eat it. But I haven't had chicken out anywhere yet.
Hey, did you get any new old school graphics cards?
No, I've stopped buying all that stuff. I need to start selling it, but I don't want to. It's too much. There's too much stuff.
Too
Which I
much.
learned,
man.
as I mentioned last week when I started moving things to a storage unit. Like,
Oh, hey, I just
how
got
do I have this much stuff.
OWC actually admits we exist now.
Whoa.
Yes, so this is Josh's fault in a way
Why?
because they reached
Josh
out
was
to
supposed to be
Josh.
docking.
Yep. And OWC sent us a. I haven't even opened this yet, to be honest with you. So
You should
this
do an
is-
unboxing. Dozens
I'm
of
doing it
people
right now.
will watch.
Here it is. Oh, it's much smaller than I thought it was
It's a
going to
doxing.
It's a Thunderbolt.
No, call
dock.
it a
They're not
doxing
huge.
video so you get more views.
be. It's a little. This is a very sizable box, and it has a certain amount of heft to it. I was expecting
Cables.
The, you know,
Cables,
power
man,
brick.
and power supply.
gotta be.
Yeah.
The
gotta
power
be,
supply
yeah.
is as big as the dock, if not
Yeah.
bigger.
All right,
Yeah.
Harry, hang on. I'm gonna take it out. All right, so that's it. It's pretty small. It's got a USB 3.
We don't care about that. We
3.2.
want to see the power brick.
Oh, yeah, but this is what you want to see is all this Thunderbolt, man. Look at all this Thunderbolt.
Where's the video?
Thunderbolts and
So
lightning.
fast.
It's a
Very,
the
very
video
frightening.
is Thunderbolt.
Thunderbolt
Jeremy,
video?
haven't you ever used an Apple product? All you need is
No.
Thunderbolt.
That's true.
That's it.
Why do you need
need
anything else?
HDMI.
What's wrong with you?
DisplayPort? Are you a fool? You
I
just need
can't afford
USB.
the stand for the monitor. I'm sorry.
USB A shape? What is wrong with you? You some sort of
Yeah, why would you buy a dock and for the full size connectivity? No. You buy a dock just to make Thunderbolt times 3.
So you can have more dongles.
Yeah. Think of all the
Okay,
extra
so
cables.
here's
Okay,
the included.
Nobody cares. Show us the power
okay.
adapter. Come on.
All right. You guys are so demanding.
Power adapter in 5.
I got to get out of the box. Okay, here it is. Oh my gosh.
That
What's
is
in the
the
box?
laptop
What's
power
in the
brick.
box?
There you go.
This
It's
is the
bigger than
size-
the dock.
Yeah, and it's heavier too.
Yes. It is. This is definitely heavier. than
Is that
the
a
dock
light
itself.
on? What is that? What brand is that?
All right, let me take a look. It's probably a light on. I mean, most of them are.
See.
No, it's like a Hoto, an H2O, Hoto. It's got like a number in it.
It's water
It's kind of
cooled.
bizarre.
Jeez, that's extreme.
H2O.
Yeah, I
It
don't know.
means do not submerge in water. I think you're reading a warning label.
Thunderbolt hub. I mean, you can't use it for anything else. I mean, that's what it says. See what it says
Lame.
right there? Come on, focus. Focus! Gosh, darn it.
And up comes the website from the QR code.
And look,
exactly,
yeah,
I know.
exactly.
Yep.
There's the QR code for it.
Anyway, yeah, you can't use it on anything else. So, yeah, this thing is much beefier than the dock itself. So, yeah, that's my
power to power your Mac.
that's my
whatever.
that's my unboxing foo. Okay, it comes with a extension cable to kind of get you to the dock itself, and this apparently takes the Angry Pixies from the wall and brings it to the power supply.
Okay.
So, yeah,
I'm
it's
gonna stop
actually
recording now. I don't even know why I'm
okay. All
recording
right.
this.
Why are you recording
I'm
this?
stopping it now. Okay, now we're just streaming.
Okay.
It's just random.
I'm starting to fall asleep.
Okay.
I
Sorry,
guess
man.
I haven't
It's-
slept for
it's no reflection
our
on
dogs.
you, Brett. I mean, Josh isn't trying to say that. I am.
No.
I
You're putting me
understand.
to sleep with this OWC
No, no.
unboxing.
Let's go back and look at some of my Apple computers again on the desk. Let's go do that.
You have fun with that.
Yep. That was
All
a
right.
17-inch MacBook Pro. A 17!
Yeah, I
17.
remember those days. They were like
Keeping the flame alive.
$800 and up, or maybe it was $3,200 and up.
It was like 32.
Yeah, it was,
I think I paid top dollar for that at the time.
of course you did.
I did.
Who has that kind of money back in the day?
I
didn't.
enjoyed it a lot, though. I enjoyed it a lot for a long,
Having
long
that
time.
money? Asshole.
Yeah, I mean, I bet you went through a few keyboards. Enjoying
I
that thing a
replaced the
lot.
keyboard on that once. I replaced
Oh,
the keyboard
okay.
on that once. Yeah, which was not fun at all because there are 400 screws holding the keyboard in.
That era of MacBook Pro sucked because it was it had a skeleton and then there was the little thin aluminum panels over it. So
It was
many screws
bad.
on those, just like the PowerBook G4.
I
era.
actually used a one of those kind of like electronics repair magnifying glasses with a light kind of ring around it, and sort of in order to find the freaking screws. And the GPU only broke on that one once, and it was repaired under Apple's gimme because we took them to court. Not we, but everybody
right,
else.
because it has NVIDIA
Yeah, it
The
was
royal we.
graphics.
It was. Yeah,
Right.
they fixed it on their dime.
Okay. Hey, it's 11:15 on the East Coast.
Nice.
Might be a good time to just say goodbye.
Oh,
Thanks
All right.
everybody for hanging out with us. I'm
Thank
gonna take the
you.
screen down